What's up, everybody? I'm Brian Altano. I'm with Sam Claiborne.
Hey, everybody.
What are we playing today?
Tetris. The only version of Tetris that I think matters anymore.
I agree with you on that. Now, Tetris, if you're young, Tetris is the Angry Birds of our generation, which means this is a game that literally everyone in the world wanted to play or was playing at the same time. And I don't just mean gamers. I don't just mean people who are excited about video games. I mean everybody. Adults on trains and planes wearing business suits, classy businessmen, mothers, daughters, friends, cousins, neighbors, everybody.
Parents would be like, so you're into these video games, huh? What do you think of this new Tetris?
What do you think of Tetris?
It's the first time I ever talked to an adult about a video game.
Yeah, they said Tetris.
Yeah.
Now, Tetris is a very beautiful, very simplistic game. Came from Russia, and was created by a man named Alexei Pajitnov.
Yeah, who you've met, right?
I did meet him.
I met him as well this summer. You met him in an elevator or something, right?
I met him at a bar.
Oh, at a bar. That's right.
Yeah.
You guys got drunk.
We
That's
took
awesome.
shots together. It was very interesting. So as you can see, Tetris is a game about blocks that fall from the sky inexplicably into Soviet Russia, and the player is tasked with stacking them up in an arrangement that makes sense enough for him to clear the lines out. And the only way to do that is to basically leave yourself some space so that there is never a hole missing in your line of blocks. You want a full, complete horizontal line of blocks from left to right or right to left.
And I'm a simple man, Brian.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm good at Tetris, sometimes I'm not.
Yeah.
Let me point out, though, that all this is not why Tetris was popular. It was popular because it shipped with the Game Boy, and the batteries lasted for freaking ever.
Yeah.
And if you had one game and you had a desert island and a Game Boy, you could play this for like 8 hours of your desert island life before you even died of dehydration.
Yeah, quite literally. Now, as you can see, Sam's using a technique here where he is stacking everything to one side, hoping for the most coveted block in Tetris, which is the line block. It's just one vertical line. That's it. Now, obviously, there are ways around it. Now, Tetris is a very fickle game because you are at the whim of the Tetris gods. That blocks in the lower corner tells you what you're getting next, and that's pretty much all you have to work with.
Yeah, now, in newer Tetris games, they've given you the ability to, can I make this? To stock up or see way ahead what blocks you have, and they've given you the ability to twirl. And actually, in Japanese versions of Tetris, once you have your piece down, like against the ground. Sega actually released an arcade game version of Tetris. Did you know that? In that version, which Japanese players know, you can twirl your piece once it touches down, and American players are like, that is so blasphemous and horrible. But people in Japan are like, no, that's how it should be. So this wasn't as popular there.
Now Tetris has spawned thousands of sequels and spin-offs. I'm one of the people that's very much a Tetris purist, right? You give me this version of Tetris, this is the only version of Tetris that matters, just like you said earlier.
Well, the music alone, right?
Yeah, the music alone, the presentation. I think it's like, it was also like, it didn't matter that the Game Boy could only do black and white because you didn't need much more for a game of this
look how carefully they designed it so you could work around black and white. And we should say green on green.
Yeah, green on green.
So we're playing original Tetris kart on the Retron 5, but which allows us to play this on a HD TV. But I've never seen it look this drab. Actually, it looks really cool with the weird, snotty green colors of the Game Boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you run into a lot of very interesting predicaments while playing this game, one of which is you will create these sort of triangular stacks, and they'll give you a square block. And you'll be like, I'm screwed.
Yep.
And there's a very real thing that happens while playing Tetris, which is, you... derp. Stuff like that. One dumb move screws up the entire thing.
Oh, gosh.
And also, this game...
I'm in damage control now, Brian.
This game really messes you up mentally. There was a disease that people called Tetrisitis, which back in the day meant you just started seeing blocks everywhere you went. And it was after hours and hours
of that's the first game I ever really experienced where, you like kind of shut your eyes after playing it for a long time. Because you could play your Game Boy in bed, which is one thing. You could take it anywhere you want. But you totally see the falling blocks behind your eyelids. I love that.
Yeah. Now also, you could hook up this Game Boy using a link cable to another Game Boy, because this is before there was, wireless multiplayer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously you couldn't play online, but if you and a friend were in the same room, you could connect your link cables, play against each other, and Tetris became two-player, where each got your own screen. And things changed a little bit then. Your moves, like Sam getting a line, like he did earlier, or a Tetris, which is basically 4 lines at once, which you can only really achieve with one of those line blocks. caused blocks to fall down on your opponent's screen, which made this an infinitely more stressful experience than playing single player. Which
Yeah.
I didn't really like playing like that.
No, I didn't play competitive back then. Although when I play versions of Tetris now, I do like multiplayer. I like the Atari Tetris.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. And then of course there's the reviled but secretly awesome Tengen Tetris.
Yep.
Which was also, 'cause Tetris came out on the NES at the same time, by the
Yeah.
way, and it's a cool version. And you can see your favorite Nintendo pals in that game too,
Yeah.
because when you beat it, you see like Link and Kid Icarus and stuff. But the Tengen version was an alternate version of Tetris released for the NES and then recalled because there was licensing conflicts between the owner of Tengen, which is Atari, and Nintendo. And Nintendo's like, no, we're doing our own version of Tetris. They're like, well, we can do one too. And they've made this like black cart and recalled it. And there's a big lawsuit, and it's really cool game history that you should look into sometime.
Yeah, check out the book Game Over if you're itching for something to read. It gets really into detail about how sought after Tetris was by all the major publishers back then. It was a war to get this game on a platform, and for good reason, because it's went on to become one of the best-selling games of all time. And like we mentioned earlier, popular among everybody on Earth.
Isn't it funny the tagline they used for us, the Soviet mind game?
Yeah.
Remember back then, for people that might not know, we're not fans of Russia. And so it was really novel to have a puzzle game from Russia.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been actually a tough sell. That was kind of risky, especially on a Japanese game console. People were not big fans of Japan at the time in America because of some manufacturing stuff. And yeah, it was just kind of a Russian game on a Japanese system. I'm really proud of us that we all got so into it.
We got over our xenophobia and hate for other places.
Nuke myself at this point.
Just to play some Tetris together.
Yeah, it's hard to play Tetris and talk, but I've done my best, and I've really enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
It's about to come to an end.
It is about to come to an end. And when this game stacks up towards the end, it gets very ugly because you obviously have very little room to navigate your blocks, and they just keep. And then there's that noise. It's terrifying.
Hey, I got a rocket.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So yeah, there's little Easter eggs depending on how well you score. Rocket ships. There's Russian dancers that come out and stuff like that. So yeah, this is Tetris for Game Boy. It's available on pretty much everything ever made with a screen can play Tetris.
Yeah, I had it on my calculator in high school.
But this is the OG. This is the original. This is the one we love the best here.
Absolutely.
So for all things Tetris and some of our favorite Nintendo games of all time, just going through their history, keep it locked right here to IGN.